Hello, everyone. It's Andrew Otten with TechRaptor. I'm here with Andrew Stretch. We're here to check out Dragon Age: The Veilguard gameplay. This one is going to focus on warrior gameplay. There are also videos on the mage gameplay and the rogue gameplay. I'd have a recommended order if you just want to figure out the how the combat kind of works in it, and that warrior is going to be a little simpler. It was earlier on in the gameplay when I played Dragon Age. Mage is going to be a little more intermediate, a little more going on. Rogue is going to have everything. Like it's a pretty higher level character with a lot of stuff going on. So that would be my recommended viewing order if you're going to check it out. But now we're just going to get straight into some warrior gameplay so you can see how that works out in Dragon Age Veilguard. So we'll just swap over real quick here, and we'll go.
Cool.
I'll see if I can. There we go. This so you have weapon sets that you can swap between.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got the sword and shield, and I've got a two-hander, which I didn't use as much. But just a little bit of exploration. So the warrior uses rage as its like a very common warrior thing in games.
Yeah.
As its resource thing, which you get hit and you get some, or you hit people, you get someone that's your resource for abilities, essentially. And so this is also me early on playing, so I'm also figuring things out in these gameplay clips. So I don't know totally what's going on.
Yeah.
But I started a little bit just showing how you interact with the world. This simple puzzle stuff that'll come up, moving things around. Yeah.
So at this point, you've just been dropped in. Do we have any context of where you are, what you're doing?
Somewhat. So like this is, if everybody saw the prologue, which was you're confronting Solus and they stop him doing his ritual, right? And then he disappears. So this is like almost immediate. Oh, here, we'll stop this real quick. So I'll get back to that. But with all your companions, at least it seems most of them have their own little like ability or interactability with the world in some way.
Okay.
And so Balara she's in tune with magic and kind of do stuff. She's used to dealing with ancient elven stuff. That's where we're at, in some ancient elven ruins. And so she can kind of manipulate stuff. So this is you just telling them that your companion, hey, go fiddle with that thing. And they all kind of have their own little unique stuff that they can do. And this is a good time just to show this little wheel. This is your little quick time. It stops stuff where you could queue up abilities, including your own characters. And this is where you tell your companions what to do. And you can customize, too early on to have enough abilities to change what your companions have. But you can change whatever they have on the sides and kind of load them out however you wish. And it would be in this that you would tell them what to do. It's the same kind of little menu, and you could, like I said, you could queue up your stuff too to all go off at once if you want, and you can point it to different enemies or whatever you want at one time. So you'll see this pop up every once in a while. And that's what I'm doing when it does pop up. So she's gonna mess with that, do her thing, but while so this happens like immediately after that, and we're going into see, this is how early it is. I've got the little tutorial prompts coming up. But so this is happening immediately after that, where we're trying to get some elven artifact because we're using the mirrors to get around the world from Solus. They're called Illuvian mirrors. So you'll have a base of operations, the lighthouse that you travel from, and you always venture out from those mirrors to different parts of the world. And that's what we did here.
Okay. Did it seem like for the characters that have those abilities to interact with the world, like the Tinker, did you get any sense of whether it might be that everyone has their own thing, so you might like go out and adventure, but there's like certain paths you can't take because you don't have party members with you? Or did it seem like people had some overlapping interactions?
So I don't know about. My guess is yes. There's going to be certain things you can't get to without certain characters. And then obviously, if there's missions where like that's an important story mission, you have to take that companion with you, so you have them for those things. But there is a specific part of the world which I don't think I show in this video, but will be in the mage video that is all about exploration. So while this isn't an open world game, there is kind of an open worldy section of it that you can just go do stuff in, and I imagine
Okay.
that's where that kind of stuff would live. But in terms of combat here with the warrior, it's pretty standard hack and slash kind of stuff at the moment. You can dodge, you can parry, and all of the classes can do that. Some are just better at it. Obviously, I have a shield, so they're much better at parrying and stuff. And you could just straight up set something up to block if you wanted to. And so the shield stuff is very focused on that, right? Blocking and
Okay.
parrying things. But I was trying to think of like what's the closest. Oh, so those green things, that's the potions so you can heal that are just littered around. So if you see I have a little potion counter in the bottom left, when this thing goes away, it'll come back up. Because apparently I had to stop and read that.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's where we're headed.
That's a fun set piece moment.
Dude, this is set piece the game. You haven't seen anything. There's some cool stuff I have in the other video. There's so much stuff to see. But like you could get knocked down, which I'm sure I will at some point with this guy. I don't know. You have a quick get up that you roll and get up. You might have saw above my head. Let's see if I can time it. See it was red there for a second.
Mm-hmm.
That means it's you can't parry that. It's standard, like get the hell out of the way. So here's where I got my loot. So I got my axe. I think I equip it. So this is just, you can see the what's going on with the weapons. So like I have them all equipped. It tells you what kind of stuff they do. There's various like staggering and other effects that certain things do. And those locked things are behind. I'm pretty sure it's with the rarity of the weapons. And so weapons will kind of increase randomly over time. So like sometimes, and I'm pretty sure it's with I'd have to get this confirmed, but when you like open chests, sometimes you get something new. Sometimes it's like, hey, this item you have, it's now went from common to rare and it's upgraded in your pack or whatever. So stuff like that will happen. Or if you find something randomly in the world in a chest, it has a chance to randomly upgrade its rarity, which unlocks that kind of stuff, and it'll increase its stats and whatever that goes on.
Interesting.
Yeah. But and then I just automatically equipped it because it let you just had a quick auto equip button there.
Yeah. It looked like it really, really quickly, really easily presented to you, like, here's what you have, here's what's different. Do you care? Yes, no. Okay, move on.
And it later on in one of the videos I'll show. There's the items do get more complicated.
Okay.
So where it's not a simply bigger number better kind of a deal.
It's
like this was.
Percentage changes and stuff.
Yeah, or certain builds of like, oh, you're going for a stagger thing, or I want to do some electrifying people, or that was the ability where I kicked the guy.
Yeah, he went flying.
Yeah, there's a lot of moving people around.
So definitely, this seems so much more ARPG than
absolutely
than Dragon Age games in the past.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. Like I said, this is just pretty simple gameplay going on at the moment. It's stuff will get wild when we look at particularly the other two classes.
Okay.
But everything feels pretty good, like weighty. It's not slow. It's not Souls-like in terms of like if it's so deliberate. This is much more of a twitchy hack and slashy kind of experience, which is what I like. I like the quick reactions in the moment. I'm not getting stuck in an animation fighting something.
Yeah.
If I need to dodge something really quick, I can move out of the way. Kind of thing. Although I think, and when I say that, I think with that two-hander, that is more like that, and certain builds are more, you go that direction if you want. But there we go. So I queued her up to blow him up.
Mm.
He's dead. I got much better at using the companions later. I kept forgetting that. I was like, oh yeah, I can use their abilities. But yeah, they have stuff like healing. They can have utility stuff or other things for you. But this is an early level. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure that abilities will become more complicated as you
Oh,
tweak
yeah.
your build
They
with everyone's build with.
and they interact with each other. Some of them have synergy and get bonuses because if you
Oh,
use them
interesting.
together. Certain things. So this I just want to show a little bit of the environment of like what's it like running around. There's reasons to go off the beaten path. And look, you could probably see in that mini map there's a little chest icon.
Mm-hmm.
If you see up there, those do show up there. So you're like, oh, I know there's a thing I can find. How do I get to the thing? But so I could push this over, get over to that. So there's certain interactability things within the environment that you can do to get somewhere that aren't necessarily obvious
Okay.
right away. And those are kind of in every level, all over. So it's not simply running from one encounter to another. Oh, here I want to pop. Well, I guess I covered it some. Move that. This is the class
Massive
tree
skill
stuff.
tree.
They're humongous. You can really do whatever you want to make this your own. Oh, as you can see, I'm a low level character, so I don't have much going on. And this is me like, well, what am I going to do with my
With your 3
points?
skill points.
Yeah. Well, the there's a few different specializations in each one that are like the main things where they'll have their
Mhm.
own style of play. Like I think this champion is focused on the shield. That Slayer I think is a two-handed thing, and the Reaper is some weird like life steely strangeness
That's
going
fun.
on. And you can obviously kind of go whatever route you want. And what's really cool about how they approach these skill trees is you can respec whenever you want, however many times as you want.
That's awesome.
So you can do whatever, whenever, and make it your own at any point. So if you're not liking something, you're like, I want to tweak it some, by all means, go at it. When I was talking to the creative director, Corinne Bush, she was saying how when they were, doing a lot of the, tweaking of abilities and stuff to make sure something's not overpowered or whatever. There's even like a build you can go with that's shield throwing. You can make a Captain America character where you're
That's
just
fun.
that. And they said that originally it was so overpowered they had to tone it down. But like you can even do stuff like that that's not necessarily like keyed out in this. Like, oh, obvious, I'm going this direction to get that ability or what have you. You can get there's quite a lot going on in those in the different nodes for you to check out. Like some of them are abilities are like something like this. While wearing this kind of armor, you get these kind of things. Some are just straight
Yeah.
stat bonuses. But a lot of them do like modify what you're gonna do. So like there's an ability. Whirlwind some folks. But yeah, Slayer, they're two-handed weapons, so that'd be a whole tree down there if you're wanting to do some two-handed stuff.
Okay.
I
mean, and especially when it's stuff like, the benefits for what type of armor you wear, that, being able to respec on the fly is just like, well, I have different armor. I need something else different. Let's get rid of that.
It feels like a game where you'll definitely have loadouts. So here's that weird, like, you're using necrotic stuff. And like it's a Moonwatch space thing where like you're siphoning health from enemies and stuff. So I was like, that's a strange one to just have in a warrior, not a third spec you would expect, right? You're like, oh, shield makes sense, two-hand makes sense, and I'm sure they're like, how can we get weird with it? And like this was it. And this is also the one where they're throwing shields more often in this Reaper thing. So you can do quite a bit with them.
Yeah, I mean that skill tree honestly looks a little bit daunting from the get-go.
Yeah, like looking at them all at once. So this is an ultimate ability. You'll get it. This will show up later in the video. You get an ultimate meter, where it's this big ability that does a shit ton of damage and stuff. And there's a few nodes that it seems to be tied into the specializations where you get a different one that you can use. So it will replace the one that you have. And that's, however you want to use your big ability. So that's the big one where you're a Grey Warden shooting much crap at people. But every class has a skill tree that's of this size. And what's nice too is we'll see if I don't zoom out, I'll rewind it some again, is that it kind of gives you little guideposts, and like if you want to do a more control-y or a more bursty kind of build, go this part of the skill tree. They'll have little words around it. No, I didn't, so I'll scoot back just a minute. But it's a nice little addition. Whatever. Oh well, didn't see it, but we'll see it more on the other ones too when you're zoomed out. We'll skip ahead to my next little bit. There we go. Now I'm ending this with a boss fight. So you can see what these are. This just seems like the first like kind of boss you get to fight in the game is, I would guess, this corrupted ogre.
He looks really cool. Love the kind of almost skeletal lower jaw.
So the blight's gotten to this boy. So you can like lock on to them, so your camera's locked on. Yeah, so it's giving me some. So you see that yellow bar that's on his health at the moment?
Yeah.
That means like doing heavy attacks. So that's the other thing. Like there's heavy and light attacks, and the heavy attacks will. So I just queued them both up to attack with abilities. Okay. So the heavy attacks are your Y, and it's you want to break down yellow bars with the heavy attacks, because your light attacks won't do as much damage. And now we're just red. We're just getting to normal old health. And you have a ranged ability, so like any warrior can throw their shield or do something. Everybody's got this kind of range thing that they can do. Like rogues have a bow. Some of them will have, and I don't think they showed up really in this gameplay, will have like a blue bar. And that's how you deal with the blue bar.
Okay.
You want to hit them with that. So there's certain things that are queued up that you need. You don't have to do them, but they make it way easier for you.
Yeah.
Kind of a deal. So that's going on at the same time. And there's all kinds of elemental effects that do what you would expect, like burning or whatever, and the shocking stuff. But they have all kinds of stagger meter things going on. Other effects that I wasn't quite sure what they did, because like eventually they get you the rogue one. Like I was just put into someone that had like 30 points into a skill tree, and I was like, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
With so many things. So here I got my ultimate.
Damn.
Him up. So that one just finished him off. So like I said, that's just the basic, real quick little boss. Bye, ogre.
That's awesome.
There we go.
Cool. So that is the first of the classes down.
That's the first class down. That's warrior. Like I said, I wish I'd had more high level gameplay with it to show off. But as you can see from that skill tree, there's a lot you can do with the warrior. Like a lot.
Yeah.
So hopefully that gave people a taste of what you could do with warrior. And I would suggest you continue on to Mage next if you're going to keep watching our coverage. And we also have a rogue video and some other stuff too.
We'll make sure to have all of those video links right on the screen.
Yep.
Excellent. Well, we will see you guys in the next video.
That's right. Mage next.